You feel ready, that it's ready to go?
I think so, yeah. So there are something to build, but I think MVP is ready.
Okay, good. Hey, Ove. Hey, Nigel.
Hey, Giovanni.
Hey, how are you?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Good.
Okay, great. So I think we can get started. We'll see if they can catch up. Can everybody see my screen? Yep, okay. So like I mentioned in the email, in today's session, I wanted to go over the app that is in the library for the Google Sheet unit test. So essentially here, let me open it up. It's a very simple app, unit test apps to kind of help you get started. They don't really have any function per se because it just kind of loads information, but it's a good thing to use as reference if you want to connect to Google Sheets. So it's gives you functionality for creating spreadsheets and receiving data. Gives you allows you to create full spreadsheets, create rows, and receiving data. And there's a brief video as always with all the apps in the library describing how it works. So I installed this app in my instance just yesterday, and now I want to show you how it works. So I'm gonna open up a brand new spreadsheet in Google, and I'm gonna give it a name. I'm gonna say 26 of March 21 EU office hours. Okay, something like that. And the first thing, the only real configuration actually that I need to do is change the setting, the sharing settings on the Google Sheet. Because if you see here, by default, at least within, for my Google, for how it's set up for Tulip, it's restricted by default. So by default, only people at it can view this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to anyone with a link, and change, instead of viewer, let them become an editor. So click this, click done. Okay, so now permission updated, good. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is copy the spreadsheet ID, which is just this part here in the URL, the unique code, I don't know, 20 characters or something. That's the spreadsheet ID. And now I'm ready to go. So if I come in here into the app that is built, say I paste the spreadsheet in, hello world, I type this, click insert record, it's immediately writing into the spreadsheet. So it's, again, this the app like this isn't so useful because it's just adding records, but you can, once you have the app, and that's what you do when install it, you have access both to the app and the app itself here. Insert record. Yeah, and you can see basically the connector. So it's passing in all the variables that you have in the app, and do a confirmation that it was added successfully. If you want to take a look at the thing part, you can see here all the information, and you can see all the headers. So this one, it auto creates to your instance. I believe, yeah, it does, because I didn't have to do any configuration here. So auto updates, puts in all the information, token URL, and you do have to go into Google Sheets, into the API console, and create this. But if you look at this video, it kind of walks you through how to do that. Yeah, so that was what we wanted to show today, because then there's a whole bunch of functions, but like I said, the unit test app really doesn't have any functionality in of itself, unless, if you want an interface, just add records into Google Sheet, it's useful. But Otherwise, I think it's useful just to use as reference and to get information that you can import into your other apps. But it's good to, even as a learning exercise, to see how Google Sheets, the integration works. Good. Are there any questions on this?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Can you open this various this API data, this production testing and development part of? Go back.
Oh, the connector details here.
Yes, yes. How did you get this page? Because when you start a new connector, I don't find any way to insert this kind of data.
In here, edit headers.
Yeah, but maybe start once a new connector. Because
Yeah.
this one has it, but when you start a new one, there is no such kind of option.
For HTTP, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you come in here, and then you have it here.
Where did you get it?
You just click here.
I don't have it.
Huh. Do you mind sharing your screen?
Yeah, I can show you.
Yeah.
Wait once.
Yep.
So I will do a new one.
Wait, but I think you said for HTTP.
Yeah, I think I did it. Okay, now I have it.
Yeah, but this one is for SQL, by the way. This connector you have here. So if you open up the first test, the one,
Okay.
the one above that.
Yeah. Here I don't have it.
Edit headers.
Yeah,
And
these
change
are the...
Yeah. So one sec. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Oh, okay. I know what's going on. Yeah, I'll enable it for you right now. Because OAuth 2.0 is enabled by default. So, well, depending on which type of instance you have, and for yours, it looks like it wasn't on there, so I'll add it for you.
Okay. Because I got it to work when I copied the same Google Sheet connector.
So if you try again now, refresh it and try again. Yeah, instead of basic auth. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Andres, for the question. Any other questions on the Google Sheets app?
There's one more thing.
Oh yeah.
If you have this Google Sheet on your company shared folder, and you can't publish it to the web, how do you connect it?
Publish it to the web. You mean make it unrestricted, the access?
Yeah. So without publishing to the web, so I think this is limited by Google's side, but.
So this here, you can't change this?
Yes.
I mean, there's no way, right? Because it does need to be accessible by an external service. Otherwise, there's no way to write to it.
Yeah, but maybe this is the question about the Google side. How do I configure this one to get this access?
Yes. So you see here. So say I'll start it. I'll just create a brand new spreadsheet. And by default, for me, it just creates it, it locks it just so that I have access. You see, it says private only to me. Then if I click this button, share, first I need to name it. I'll say office hours 2. Okay, and then we get this modal here, which allows us to change the settings. So I can change it. I can say, okay, only
yeah, yeah, I know this, but I think this is the configuration what I'm looking is in this Google console. I think I have to add this some kind of settings there to make this available.
Yes, so you don't need to create the client ID and the client secret from the console, from the cloud platform here.
Because I got this thing to work with OAuth 2, but it works only a certain time period, let's say about 3 or 4 hours, and it stops working. So I want to work it continuously.
Yeah, I didn't know there was an expiry setting on the here, but you can just come in here, create client ID, and then you have the client ID and the client secret that you can use.
Yeah, this thing works 4 hours.
Really? I'll delete it now because I guess I shared it. It's interesting. Oh no, sorry, I created the wrong one. I didn't. When I set it up, I didn't remember there being like an expiry. But maybe I'm not sure. Do you mind posting on community, and I can share it with Sagar, who built the connector, and he can. But yeah, I'll check with him, but I don't think there was an expiry. Actually, you know what? Let me just check with him real quick now. Yeah. Okay, I'm just checking if he can join and kind of share some input. Okay, and you were able to set it up to also write information, read and write?
Yeah, everything works, but the token expires.
Token expires after 4 hours. Okay, yeah, I'll check with him and I'll let you know. Okay, great. Hey, Patchy, welcome.
Hello, Gio. I just hop on.
Yeah, good.
Pretty late.
No worries. We were just going over the Google Sheets app in case you were interested. But yeah, basically just so you can see it's yeah, it's just an app that you download from the library, and then it kind of allows you to one second, let me share my screen. Yeah, once you set it up, it allows you from Tulip player to just read and write this one here, information into the why is it, oh, here it's, I didn't change it to a Google Sheet.
Yes, I watched Sagar doing some demo.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know why it's not going now, but oh, did I not? Here we go. Editor, yeah, just need to update the settings here. There it goes. Yeah, exactly. It's the one that Sagar said. Yeah, I did. You're right. Okay, let me just see. Did you have any questions, by the way, Patchy, or are you just joining to listen in?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, great. Ove, I saw you had emailed me about a question with regards to table analytics.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you want me to kind of just give a quick demo of how that can be done, or what would be most useful for you?
As I mentioned, I have not used or set up anything in analytics yet. So I think it's just a quick demo how to connect to tables there.
Okay.
Yeah. If it, as I also mentioned, it might be just straightforward, but this is something I'm about to start on now. So
yeah, so it's actually it is straightforward, but it's not quite as intuitive as it is for the app analytics. I'll show you here, for example. So now say I have this table. I mean, it's just a standard table with some information. So if I want to create an analysis on this, there's not a place to do it from the tables interface. You do need to go to the dashboards, and then down at the bottom you can just click add chart, and then here you see how you can have the option of an app, a table, or a machine. The one we're interested in is from a table. So click this, and here it says, okay, no analysis found for this table. I can just click create a new one, and here we get some options. So I will point out that here these options are not as extensive as they are for app analyses, and they're also dependent on the type of information that's in the table. So this table here has integer values in it. That's why you're seeing, for example, some of these. But it's not always, if this weren't to have a number in here, some of them wouldn't show up. So say I click this one, then I can just change the date range, because the date range looks at if you see here, all the table have some metadata, which is the date created and the date updated. So it's really important to come in here and change this the date range to all time, because this filter looks at when the record was created. And then once you have it like this, you can customize it, kind of the same way that you're used to. You can select from any of the fields. Say I put it like this, x-axis, I want to put the work order ID, and then y-axis, average quantity, for example. Or, you can also add the expression editor and add quantity like this, and you can come in here and do any kind of math operand that you'd like.
okay, so the available analytics are based on what the content is in the table.
Yeah. So this list is pulling directly from this table here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you also said that it should be an integer and not a number. Or can you use a number as well?
No, you can use the numbers. So what I was referring to, so say, for example, let me just open up. Okay, so see this table here, it doesn't have a number column.
Mm.
So then if I come in here to create another analysis and I link it up to that one, I say, take a look at receiving here, I can create the new analysis, and you see fewer options than what I had before. Yeah. And now if I come back in here into the reading and I add a number as well, click save, and then refresh this. Just give it a second. You see how now more options. So this one here shows up that we didn't have before. So I just wanted to point out, because oftentimes, if you see very few options here and not even the one for the chart, that could be the reason why. It's because you don't have a number or integer column in the table.
I remember that sometime we are cheating a bit. We can add some column that doesn't exist, but just some numbers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just that Tulip needs to see that there's a column there. So even if it's empty, as long as it's there, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, did that make sense? Kind of, you now feel comfortable knowing where to find
Yeah,
it?
looks quite easy to connect to a table. So the main thing here would be to learn how this analytics works.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I think to be honest, it's the part within Tulip that kind of takes the most, in my opinion, to kind of understand how it works. It's kind of like setting it up is it's not always the most intuitive thing, but then the nice thing is, of course, that once it's set up once, it's good. It stays up to date. So if you want to change, yeah, the date range or have any filtering, once you have that, you only need to do it the one time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, yeah, of course. How's everything else going, Obi, by the way? I saw there was an update with the Pro Glove.
Yeah, are you referring to in the community or?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you posted in there and you had a quick conversation with Yuri, I think, about it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the ProGlow is working very good. And
Nice.
they have this nice web page where we can configure it and
Nice.
add rules for how to extract the data that is scanned and what. Yeah, so there are many opportunities in there. And
Nice. So are you basically scanning and then sending the information to Tulip? Is it using an HTTP connector, or is it connected directly to a gateway or something?
Oh, it's by ProGlow gateway. So
Okay.
yeah, so they communicate by I think it's Bluetooth, and the gateway is connected by USB to the station.
Oh, very nice. That's good. Good to hear. And it's a glove that has a scanner on top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's very good. Very good
Nice.
thing.
It's good to hear.
So but I think we have stopped the regarding the one with the display on, because they use this. It's called Stream API.
Oh yeah.
And so they use WebSockets. It's more like an internal communication. So we need to set up something on our site to handle it.
Okay. Because currently it's only from the Pro Glove into Tulip. You're not sending information to this little screen.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's directly to as an input in the player.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And you would like to show some information on the screen that's on the glove?
Yeah, but also to send feedback to the scanner. Like there are, you can use sound or light LEDs, and there also this haptic feedback with vibration.
Oh,
So
nice.
just to be able to use those as a feedback to the operator, if he scans something that is not on the supposed picking list in this case, then he can be alerted, for example. And if otherwise, if he has to pick, let's say, 20 pieces of one item, so when the quantity is, so yeah, we can increment, and then when it reached the 20 quantity, then we can give a feedback. So we don't have to go back to the Tulip player and see when it's finished.
Wow, very interesting.
But that is something we are not. We have stopped working on that for the moment, but
Okay.
it is possible to use it.
Okay, good. Yeah, really nice. yeah, I'd be actually interested to see like a little video or something, how it's working kind of in the, it's for receiving, right?
No, it's for shipping. So it's yeah, it's
okay, yeah.
it's on the picking process and onto pallets and into containers and so on.
Okay. Nice, very nice. Yeah,
So,
thanks for the update, Elvie.
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Cool. Are there any other questions? You know, on anything that you've been building that we can take a look at?
I might have a question because when I have working on this shipping app, I have not had in mind that or when they should complete the app. And it's been, the completion part has been kind of not in my head when I have worked on this. So in the completion tab on in the app, there are tons of variables. Most of them are only for internal use in the app to set status and to move on, and just to keep it secure that you can't do anything you shouldn't do. So, and that's why I asked to access the table by the for the analytics. So
Okay.
I feel it's more like a mess in the completion data. And how do you normally use completion? Because this is my first app that I'm supposed to deploy. So so when is it normal to have a completion in an app? And there are several, let's say, layers here. We have the container that is supposed to be shipped. That is the upper level. Then we have something called pre-shippers. And we can have several pre-shippers for one container. And in the pre-shippers, we have orders, or one order or several orders. And in the orders, there are the items to be picked. So we have all these levels, and making completion of each item that has been picked, I think that would be too much. And so where is, yeah, it's not a normal process run. It's more like a continuous run.
Yeah. So that's a good question, and I think it's kind of a source of some confusion with regards to how it works. So just to give you some history, until about 1.5 years ago, and all the information that was stored in completions. And a lot of the use cases that Tulip was used for was a lot more of kind of linear and kind of repetitive things, you know, where it's like, okay, do this, then complete and start again, do, complete, start again, and just like going round in circles. But now there's lots of use cases that can be done that, you know, or occasionally actually don't require completion. So it really depends on what you're building, you know. So the, you know, for example, and Patrick can probably speak more about this, but within regulated industries, you know, and actually we have, you know, we have an article on the knowledge base with regards to best practices for GXP app building. And I think, you know, it gives you some, you know, this is just suggestions, so don't think this is the ground truth, but here it gives you some recommendations on how to use completion. So, you know, use completions to create an unchangeable history record. You know, it does give you a lot of background. This is just suggestions, so it's kind of, you know, take it as you will, but so anyways, the completions, you know, the way I see it, like, it doesn't really hurt to have extra completion. So I don't think it ever detracts from Tulip. So if you want to put them at random points, yeah, when something's been picked, it's really a non-issue to add additional completions. That being said, sometimes they're not necessary, so you don't need to add them. But it's kind of I think, you know, the other thing to bear in mind is that whenever there is a completion, it updates. If it's set on your shop floor to update to the latest version, it will update. So that's one important thing to bear in mind, because otherwise the app has to go in and get restarted. So that is one advantage of having the completion.
Yeah, another question there. When you have done this completion, so does it straight away start on a new run then, if you just do nothing else than complete the app? So it's just a record in the completion that is done and nothing else is happening, or how does it work?
Yeah, so it that's right. And then all the variables here are also cleared back to their default values. So in this app, I'll say, okay, when the button is pressed, then we'll just complete the app. So now if I open it up, I mean, it won't be, and that's it. And it created a record. Variables have gone back to their default values.
And the timing is starting over again, or?
Yes. The time, yeah, all the various timers for the steps reset back to zero.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that yeah, I think the only other thing is if there is a new version and your station is set to always run the latest published version, it will update. Yeah.
So you recommend to use the completion more active?
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, it doesn't really. There's no harm as long as it's not necessary to do it on every single button click. I think that's excessive, but
yes.
But you know,
I just wonder if I should add it for each item that are picked, or at what level. But we need to look into what kind of KPI we need and so on.
Yeah. So, but these items are being picked into a pallet or something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, almost like in this use case, I would recommend like when the whole pallet is built complete. You know, so you iterate through all of the items that are being picked. Then once they're picked, the pallet is complete. At that point, you have a completion. But that's if you're tracking all the items in a table or somewhere else. But,
yeah,
but it is, yeah, it's
and I had timestamp on those.
Yeah,
I have timestamp on every level.
Okay, yeah, and you're saving every single pick in a table already.
Yeah, well, like it is now, we have to import the picking list from our ERP system. So everything is there. I just added some records to add what is happening to the item, that what is the status of that order line. Is it picked? When was it picked? Was there something? Has there been a change or something?
Yeah.
So I just update already record.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah. So yeah, if you're storing all these records in a table, then yeah, I would recommend having the completion at the end of the pallet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and actually there will be some changes coming in the coming months kind of how all of this is processed, because like I mentioned, it used to be that Tulip was used a lot more for kind of like simpler and linear tasks that were easier to repeat. So that's why complete exists. But now we have hundreds of use cases that actually don't have a completion at all. They're just storing data to a table, or not even to a table. It's just going to a connector into some other system that don't need completions at all. But I would still recommend keeping them for the timer, like you correctly pointed out, and to update to the latest published version. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Good question. And actually, Pat, do you have any recommendations as well? Because I know you've built quite a few apps, and you probably have some insight into completions. And do you have any recommendations?
Sorry, Joe. I was not listening at all.
Oh, no worries. No, because we were just speaking about completions and when to put them within apps, and I was just wondering if you had any recommendations for OAuth, but no problem.
Yeah. I follow a bit. No, I think exactly what you said. In the past, when we were building apps for GXP, we were just completing every time we change a variable. We were completing the app. We don't really do it anymore because we use more history widget, even if there is some flows. But still, I still use sometimes completion table. Really has an audit trail. It's mainly it's my main use. And yes, you can get some great analytics, and it's super easy. As you said, it's easier than to build analytics for completion table than for normal table. So
yeah,
it was useful.
Yeah, that's right. That's another thing. It's the completions, like I was showing earlier with the analytics for the tables, isn't quite as built out as it is for the completion. So that's another point. Yeah, thanks, Pachi. Okay, perfect. Are there any other questions, things that we can help out with?
I just realized something after 1 week fighting with with Tulip and CSV importation. I found out yesterday with Kaylee that my CSV upload were not working because I had a trailing space at the end of my ID. So if some of you are using it, be careful. I was uploading some file, and I just realized it was not working just because I had a space at the end of my ID. So I spent 1 week with Kaylee to find out what was my problem.
Oh, that's interesting, and because that's good to know, actually, because here I guess if there's a trailing space, so it does let you from I guess it eliminates it for you if you do it.
It eliminates for you. You cannot, and it's different recorder. If you try using a CSV and upload one with a space and one without a space, it's a different recorder. Because after I delete my trailing space, I see that they don't overwrite. They just add new record.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really good to know, actually, because it's it can be.
You see how exciting my wiki is.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, if we match this up.
You try to put.
Oh, I had put a space.
Yes, and can you try to modify it? Yeah, no, to try to modify the record with something like quantity 1.
Not letting me save it.
Yeah, failed to upload a record. Please contact support.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, that's really good to know. So yeah, for those, basically it's, the ID does need to be just purely text with, I mean, I guess, if it can have spaces inside?
I think yes.
Yeah, okay.
Inside is okay.
no trailing spaces.
No trailing spaces.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Yeah,
fails.
good. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, happy.
Welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. Are there any other questions? Okay, perfect. In this case, thanks everybody for joining. Andres, just so you know, let me just check here. Sagar got back to me. The refresh time is longer. The live. Yeah, it should be long lived. So it's strange that it's only working for 4 hours for you. Would you mind posting in I think there's a community topic. I can link to it here actually. And then Sagar can help you out if there is any configuration, but it doesn't seem like there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to do it sometime next week.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think if you could just post it, I'll put it in the chat in this one here, where someone's talking about writing to Google Sheets, because if you're getting it, maybe that other users are getting it, so it would be good. Okay, great. Thanks everybody for joining, and have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.